Adventure Alternative offers medical elective placements to students from the UK. Every student from the UK, it's a compulsory part of their course to do a 6 or 8 week placement. So we offer the whole package essentially to students in terms of their clinical placement in hospitals and clinics around Kenya, as well as their accommodation, their food, security, safety, social events. So really is the whole package. So we offer placements in 4 different areas around Kenya. The first of which is Siaya, which is in rural and very traditional Western Kenya. It's very backward here and the clinical setting fits that. The facilities are very minimal, so it's really back to basics medicine for the students. The other placements we offer are 2 in central Kenya, in Nyeri and Embu. They're a little bit more advanced but still quite urban and traditional medicine. And the final placement is in Nairobi in a slum clinic called Usharika in the slum of Kibera, which is the largest slum in Africa.
The relationship we have with these communities, and it's a long-term relationship, that has given us the opportunity for us to be able to organize for the Westerners to come and have this experience in the slums and in the rural, because you have that strong bonding with them.
The clinics and hospitals are all clinics and hospitals that we've worked with through the charity, done renovation projects or given them donations. And that's what really gives us the links to be able to send these students to these institutions. They're not the state-of-the-art places that you do see in Kenya. They're really the hospitals and clinics that need help, and they really benefit from having Western medical students working at them. We as a company give a donation to each of the clinics and the hospitals that we send students to, basically as a thank you for looking after them. But this money is for them to do what they please, as long as it's for the improvement of the facility. They can choose what they spend that money on. And that's led to clinics massively improving themselves in terms of decor and equipment and facilities, and the hospitals as well have been able to buy things that they just wouldn't be able to buy otherwise. So it's a really good link with the charity as well. Students can choose which placement they prefer. They can travel between locations, spend a couple of weeks in each, whichever they prefer and whichever suits their needs and their requirements.
For my medical elective, I've been at a Shuki clinic in Kibera and working in the clinic for 2.5 weeks. We do the main clinic in the day, and we as the students run the clinic ourselves, but then the doctor is around in the building, so if we need help or if we don't know what we're doing, we can go and get him. And then also I've been going out into Kibera as part of the Moving Mountains feeding programme, and they go out on a Monday, Wednesday and a Friday. The aim is to take food to bedridden or housebound patients with advanced AIDS who are too poorly to get into the clinic. It's a really unique opportunity to get into the main slum itself, because obviously you have to go in with health workers because you can't just wander in on your own. But it's perfectly safe when you're with the health workers, and you get to see a totally different side of Kibera than you see from the clinic.
Compared to clinics and hospitals at home, they don't have very much, and you get more responsibility and they really need you to be there. Whereas at home you often feel like when you're in the hospital you're a bit of a spare part and you're in the way. Here you feel like if you weren't there they would really miss you, and that you're really making a difference when you're working here.
I didn't realise when I came out I'd be able to go down to like the GP, things like that. It's just something that's happened just when I came here, and like even at the hospital, like they're very flexible. You can work in any departments, go with any of the doctors. The
placements that we organise are off the beaten track. They're not your run-of-the-mill hospitals and clinics throughout Kenya. And basically we're able to organise placements at those places because of the network of people that we have in Kenya and our own knowledge of Kenya. We know the people to go to get permission to work in slum clinics and very rural district hospitals. So we make all those arrangements for the students on their behalf, so they don't have to worry about that sort of bureaucracy at all. It's all done for their arrival. So when they arrive, they just begin their placement.
I've got loads of friends that just had real issues doing their elective and trying to make contact with this tiny little village and, you know, goodness knows where. And it's been really hard. So from that aspect, because the company has direct contact with everyone in Kenya, it's been a lot easier.
I really liked the support that they offered, and the kind of elective that they offered was the kind that I wanted, because they allow you to go to the more developing hospitals and the clinics such as Ushrika that I think would be absolutely impossible to organise yourself, because you just don't have the connections. They're not the kind of thing that are in the elective handbook. You'd just never find them. But that was exactly what I wanted to do.
I think the company allows you to go to more outreach areas, so not necessarily Nairobi or Mombasa or any of the big cities, but more rural places, which I think gives you a better experience, but also you see a bit more about the country and the culture.
So in each of the areas that we operate in Kenya, we'll limit the number of students to about 5 or 6 in each area. This is basically due, most of the hospitals and clinics that we work with are quite understaffed, so that means that the medical students will have a positive influence, i.e. they're extra staff, but also there's enough doctors, nurses, etc. to supervise them properly throughout their entire placement.
Even though we're not doctors, we can definitely help out with a lot of procedures and just doing basic things which will help the doctors themselves, so I think it makes a big difference.
We haven't found the language barrier to be any problem. We were in Siaya for 4 weeks. A lot of the patients can speak English. If they only speak Swahili or speak a little English, then you can get one of the clinical officers or one of the nurses to come in and translate for you. We heard about the Vit alternative through another girl in our medical school, and she had done split her elective into 2 different places, so we thought it would be good to do some time in rural Kenya and then contrast it with a few weeks in Nairobi to see what the difference would be.
Placements in Kenya basically offer the student a chance to experience tropical medicine and other medicine that they just wouldn't see in the UK this day and age. However, saying that, with the increasing amount of travel that people in the Western world are doing, it's really good and really important that these students experience these things for travellers that are returning to the UK, potentially with problems from abroad. So the things that they'll experience roughly are obviously malaria, any tropical diseases, tropical ulcers, HIV and AIDS are the big ones. They don't have all the facilities and the equipment and the resources available that they do have in the UK. So it really emphasises their need for clinical knowledge as opposed to using equipment all the time, which is how it's based in the UK. So it really emphasises that fact for the students, and they're greatly more qualified when they go back to the UK. The students stay in our own accommodation in Siaya and in Nairobi, and it's in local guest houses in Embu and Nyeri. Because of that, they're able to really experience the whole lifestyle, the culture, the traditions of the area that they're staying in. They really become part of the community. They shop locally for their own food in the markets. They cook it locally, local style. They obviously spend time with the local people, learning about their lives. And that as well is an incredibly important part of the placement, so that they really experience the true Kenya.
I got to know the doctors quite well at the hospital, so I used to go to dinner at their place and talk to them, and they've become friends.
I think I would have found it really hard if there was probably no one here, but the Afro campus have been here, and other medical students, and the staff in Gilbert has been great.
The medicine's a big part of it, but we've done a lot since we've been here at the weekends. We tended to take long weekends, and we've been like whitewater rafting, and we went to the Masai Mara, and just come back from Mount Kenya.
I tried to kind of organise things like that before I came out, but having spoken to Helena, she was like, you should just wait till you come out. It's going to be so easy to organise, and I felt a bit apprehensive about that because it was going to be kind of last minute. But came out, spoke to Kelly and Gilbert and the others here, and it's just so easy to organise safaris, kind of get recommendations from them on different companies, especially with Mount Kenya. It was a good guide that they recommended to us. Safaris, they helped us out if we had any questions, things with transport as well. They can always recommend things like that. I feel that there's always something that we can do. I don't ever feel like I'm bored or sitting about doing nothing, as if there's nothing to do. So there's always plenty to keep us occupied.
During their placements, the medical electives and GAP teachers are all invited by us to get involved with all our charity projects throughout Kenya. Up in Western Kenya, there's the orphanage, so they can come and help out with education and cooking and cleaning, whatever, with the children. In Embu, we have the Street Kids Rescue Centre with a football team. So anybody that's into football can give a hand with the training every day for those lads. Feeding programmes, all kinds of stuff, and we're obviously very keen for everybody to get involved with that.